and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's session outlook, we are going to talk about, again, the US dollar. It actually fell further against the Japanese yen, as of course the Japanese currency rose to 1-week high against the US currency. Of course, that was a 4.5-month peak for the yen, of course, also versus the euro on Tuesday, as of course investors are going cautious about possibly a contagious meeting between the US President Donald Trump and also the Chinese President Xi Jinping. And that is, of course, on a vow during the campaign label that China is a currency manipulator on the first day of office of the Donald Trump presidency. Of course, that could also prove to be, let's say, a very hazardous type of meeting, to be honest, of course, for the markets. And of course, traders and investors would be really happy to see more market movement, more volatility, of course, in some cases risk off if that's possible. But of course, that remains to be seen. Today, however, we have important data coming out from US and Europe. Firstly, for the European session, we're looking at the market services PMI out of Germany, market PMI composite out of the European Union. Also, we're looking later today in about 4.5 hours, the ADP employment change out of the United States. That's the preliminary report for Friday's unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls. Also, looking at market services PMI for US non-manufacturing ISM purchasing managers index as well, and Federal Open Market Committee minutes. This would be a particular event with high volatility. That's in about 10.5 hours from now. Also, we're looking at the Energy Information Administration crude oil stockpiles data on a weekly basis. Of course, that's relevant for the crude oil, which broke above the 51.40 resistance area. However, let's have a look at the chart down here. First of all, starting with the euro versus the dollar, mostly sidelining since the plunge down below the 1.0626 to reach as low as 1.0643, or let's say that was by far enough to reach the next support level to bounce back above the 50 exponential moving average. Nothing major over there ahead of the news that we just mentioned about. Sterling is also on the sidelines since yesterday. Nothing major there. But of course, the dollar versus the yen, it actually plunged to as low as 110 with the shadows over there, 110.27, which of course is just slightly above the 110 yen pivot area. Right now, we're also looking at a sideways direction because we need to see whether that pivot level would sustain as a solid support level in the near term. Of course, the commodity that would be mostly viewed today would be gold, as yesterday there was another test at the 1261.62 resistance area, from where a bounce off towards the 1266 and furthermore to the major resistance area that comes around 1279. That is a change of roughly $18 since the breakout, after the breakup of 1262 resistance. Right now, we're going to stick with our bullish scenario for further upside. Crude oil also is making its move higher on American Petroleum Institute's positive report for larger than expected draw of crude stocks last week. Right now, however, we're looking for the next resistance at 51.40, which is one of the major resistance areas for the commodities such as oil. Of course, should it break above that resistance area, we're looking at the pivot level of 52, and of course at the next resistance at 52.80. So that's all about the most important data of today. Also, ladies and gentlemen, please have a look at the economic calendar, follow on the news that are going to be released today, especially the Federal Open Market Committee minutes later throughout the US session, and of course that the ADP employment change, which is the preliminary data for Friday's non-farm payrolls and unemployment change. Until then, of course, I'm going to see you again tomorrow, just ahead of these important events that, of course, would set direction for the rest of the month's major currencies and commodities. That's all about it. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.